Condo fees, the good, the bad, the ugly. Is it a waste of money? Is it not? I'm going to jump into this and go over exactly what you're getting out of a condo fee. And if you're thinking I don't want that condo because there's maintenance fees, you could be wrong. You could be missing out big time on home ownership. So on a low level here, let's break down what exactly does a condo fee entail. I'll go over a little bit later on exactly when is too high and what is too low. Sorry, there's no such thing as too low, but we're going to break those down for you. So what exactly does a condo fee? So every condo building is going to be very different. Some buildings are going to include hydro, heat, water, and some buildings are not. Some buildings are only going to include water and heat, and some buildings are only going to include water. So every condo is going to be different. Now, what you have to look at in the overall scope is it a high rise? So how condo fees are managed is divided by the square footage of your property, your locker size, and your parking size, and that's what comprises your maintenance fee. Now, depending on if it includes water and heat, let's say, that's also going to be part of the fee. Now, you have to keep in mind, do you have 24-hour security, a gym, a party room, a rooftop deck, a pool, an indoor, an outdoor? Is there tennis courts? Do you have room service? Do you have valet? These are all things that are going to comprise a condo fee and a maintenance fee. And you also have to think, is it new? Has there been any damages? Is it going to go up or down? What is a reserve fund? Well, a reserve fund is going to be the money that your fee is paying into. So there is a portion of that fee goes into the building's fund. We call this the building's reserve fund, otherwise known as a slush fund, savings account. This is going to be there so that anything that goes wrong with the building can be fixed. Your front doors, your balconies, the glass, anything like that that's considered a common area, everyone can share it, it's a shared area, that is also what your maintenance fees are going to go towards. If you have a condo that's going to have a lot of greenery, grounds, flowers, that's going to go towards the upkeep. So remember, a lot of these things that you're paying into is also the perk of having a condo, right? Remember, I lock my door, I leave. My car's nice underground, I'm parked, I got a locker, I stored everything in the basement, that's heated. Well, someone's gonna pay for the heat, to heat the building, to heat the undergrounds. So remember, that is what your condo fee is going towards. Now, it's not that it's just thrown away and going to waste of money. You have to decide what's important to me about a condo. Personally, I've lived in a condo. What was important to me was I wanted a condo when I was looking that had a gym I could use so I don't need a gym membership. So there you go. I'm saving almost $80 to $100 from a gym membership. That's my condo fee, right? That was one factor I wanted. Underground parking. Store their car in a garage, somewhere else, $300-400 a month. I love that I didn't have to shovel snow, cut grass, water flowers, have a garden. Little things like that are the perks that you get with living in a condo. Concierge. My Amazon packages never got stolen because I didn't have to worry because security was holding my packages for me. So there's small conveniences and perks you got to take into consideration when thinking about a maintenance fee. Case in point, if your maintenance fees are about $500 a month, right, that's $6,500 a year. If you do buy a home, remember, windows could cost you $20,000-$30,000 if you need to replace them. A new furnace could cost you $5,000 to $6,000 to replace. A hot water tank, same. You see where I'm going with it? So you have to remember, there's going to be expenses in home ownership no matter what, whether it's a condo or a home. So the bad about condo fees. These are the red flags that I look for first. Age of the building. So remember, you want to take a look and say, is this an older building? And where are the maintenance fees at? If they're upwards to $900, $1,000 plus, those are red flags you want to start saying. Now, of course, it's going to be relative to the size of the unit. The bigger the unit, the higher the maintenance fees, right? So you also want to keep that in mind. But think about this in terms of a newer building that's a similar size unit. What are those maintenance fees compared to this? Most of those maintenance fees, again, with the higher condos, you want to ask yourself, if I'm going to pay $900 to $1,000 plus in maintenance, I want hydro included, heat included, water included, cable TV in some condos are included, Wi-Fi and internet's actually included in some condos as well. So you have to look at yourself and ask yourself, are these things included? And then do I have 24-hour security? Do I have a shuttle bus system service? What services, amenities, and perks am I getting? And am I realistically going to use it? Because if I'm not, then there's no point in buying that condo with high maintenance fees. So when we get into how ugly it can look, and this is going to be important when you're purchasing a condo, that you're going to go over the status certificate, that's going to tell you the health of the building. So the health of the building will be reviewed by a lawyer when you purchase it as part of the conditional period. If you check out one of my other videos, we go into it. But how that's going to work is we're going to talk about, are there any special assessments? So where condos can be a little bit not dangerous, but where it can be a hurting place is if something does come up and something happens in a condo. The bad and the ugly and the negative about it is if a special assessment needs to happen, say to repair a garage or something happens to the building itself and a large lump sum of money that the reserve fund won't cover, it's on the unit owners to pay this special assessment on a monthly plan. What can happen is you could be asked to pay an extra $400 or $500 a month for 6 months, 8 months, a year, or different types of pay periods, depending how it's structured, on top of your maintenance fee to make up lost ground. So it's always important to know, how is the condo run? What's the property management? Is it a company I've never heard of? Is there problems that are arising in the status certificate? Are there lawsuits against the condo? These are going to be red flags you want to look into when going into a condo, and the reserve fund amounts. And of course the good. So they're not all that bad. I always ask everybody, what would you put a price on if you could have your car parked underground, no snow, no shovel, warm? Personally, I call that about a good $200 value. Some people say 100, some say 150. I've had people say $500. So it's all relative to yourself. Now think about this. If you're a first-time buyer right now and you're looking at that condo, you got to ask yourself, right? Water for a home on average is going to cost you anywhere from $40 to $50, could be upwards of 100 plus. Hydro is going to be anywhere from $80, $100 plus dollars a month. Most likely it's going to be more, probably around 150 or so. And then your gas bill, that's also going to be anywhere from $100 to $200 a month. So if we average it all out and we say water was 50, maybe you're efficient, hydro's 100, and your gas is going to be about 50. It's going to be at least $100. So you're looking at about $250 to $300 in general on utilities on your home. And that's just for usage. So if your condo is going to include water and heat, you're already going to pay that in another form in a house. So keep that in mind. You're just going to pay hydro on top of your maintenance fee. A good maintenance fee for a 1+ den or a 1-bedroom is going to be anything under $500. And if it's a 1+ den, maybe 2 washrooms, parking and whatnot, 700 to 600 square feet, you want to be under 600. Because remember, if you're going to be in this condo for 3 to 5 years, you have to take into consideration, as my maintenance fee goes up, the value at a certain point will peak and start to come back down. So you want to be cognizant of where your maintenance fees are to the market and also where the building values are going. Because what happens is, if my 1-bedroom condo that's in a low-rise building with no amenities has a $650, $700 maintenance fee, that's going to affect my purchase price. One rule of thumb to keep in mind is about $475 on a monthly charge is about $100K on someone's pre-approval. So if your maintenance fees are now getting upwards to $700, $800, that condo at $500K, that buyer needs a $600K budget to afford it monthly. So keep those things in mind when the maintenance fees are starting to go up. And there's also a timing part of it where you start to say to yourself, hey, maybe it's time for me to sell that condo right now because the maintenance fees are starting to get to those $650, $700 levels where a 1+ den is starting to get unattainable for a first-time buyer. So understand what you're in. Understand, am I a 1-bedroom? Am I a 2-bedroom? Who would I sell to? And be cognizant of what your maintenance fees include and the building itself. So my 3 tips right now that I'll leave you with, if you are looking for a condo, is number 1, hit the link below and we'll set up a call to help you out and find that right condo. Look for maintenance fees that are going to be around the 500 marker or less. If you're looking into certain buildings, see where you can offset other costs. Underground parking, a nice gym that you don't have to buy a gym membership for. Maybe there's convenience involved where there's some restaurants and shops underneath you, so you're not going to be driving anywhere to go get food. Concierge package systems. So really understand and make sure they're including at least water and heat, and you're only paying hydro. That's going to be more common for a majority of buildings, especially in Mississauga. But those are the 3 things I would really keep in mind to your lifestyle when looking at a condo.